So I'm sure you guys remember the entire attempt by the right-wing smear machine, as well in addition to some corporate Democrats, to smear Ilhan Omar as this anti-Semite because she was basically talking about how, Israel has a lot of, essentially lobbying power, and I think she had some comment about like how it's like, she's basically expected to have this foreign allegiance to another country, and all of this stuff. Now, it looks like Mr. Donald Rump is jumping in on this.
Congress. But these people hate Israel. They hate Jewish people. I won't name them. I won't bring up the name of Omar, Tlaib, AOC. I won't bring that name up. Won't bring it up. I will not bring it up. But where do these people come from? 10 years ago, if you think back, there was a great love, and today it's the opposite. But
that end part makes no sense, and it's more evidence that, he's got dementia, he's using uppers and all this other crazy shit, because the end part of that literally makes no coherent sense whatsoever, and that's to be expected from a Donald Trump speech. But you want to know something funny about this? He's not speaking at like a Jewish convention. He's actually talking to a group of evangelical supporters. He's starting out, he's launching his, quote, Evangelicals for Trump coalition. And so it's really telling that he's not at like an AIPAC convention or, speaking to Jewish people. He's not doing that. He's talking to evangelicals and he's saying this. And if you recall, evangelicals are massive supporters of Israel. Now, why is the reason for that? Well, basically, when the rapture comes in, I guess, the Jews have to be over in Israel, and so that's when the end times are going to come. And it's pretty, that whole thing is pretty insane, to be quite frank with you. But that's pretty telling in and of itself. Now, the idea that AOC, and by the way, AOC had revealed some Jewish ancestry as well, which is interesting to say that. But, they all are people who endorse Bernie Sanders, so they're super anti-Semites, of course, for saying that Palestinians deserve human rights and that they deserve, a two-state solution, that they deserve dignity and respect. Super anti-Semitic for that one. I mean, you can't say that at all now. And Ilhan Omar calling out basically what was the influence of the Israeli lobby in politics, and then being called anti-Semitic for it is very unfortunate. And then there was a play-in of a lot of, like, corporate Democrats, your David Ackmans of the world as well. And it was a pretty terrible and disgusting thing to happen, to be quite frank with you. And I always have to remind you guys of what happened with H.W. Bush. I remember reading about this. There's even a quote from him where basically he says, it's all those lobbyists against little old me. So he basically felt little in comparison to all of that. And it's because he basically told Israel, hey, if you don't fucking stop these, these settlements, expanding your settlements, we're going to freeze your loan guarantees. And AIPAC went crazy. The Israeli lobby altogether went crazy. And, they just totally went through the roof, man. They totally went through the roof. They went to the Hill, they went to Congress, and they were lobbying, and it's a very powerful lobby, of course. And we're unfortunately in a situation in the United States of America where if you simply say Palestinians deserve human rights, Benjamin Netanyahu is a racist, murderer, psychopathic piece of shit, and that we need a two-state solution, a peace plan, and like an actual, legitimate both sides type of thing, and like, Israel's committing war crimes, you're an anti-Semite, which is unfortunate. And so we've got to figure out a way to shift the, dialogue and the overall debate in the country, and this seems to be the biggest trouble in terms of correction. It seems damn near fucking impossible to switch that, mode of conversation from being any criticism of Israel is anti-Semitic to we need to do it like, okay, real anti-Semitism is being, bigoted and anti-Jewish, obviously, right? Which is not the same thing, not even the same as being anti-Israel, obviously, but being like anti-Benjamin Netanyahu and being in favor of Palestinian human rights. That doesn't make you anti-Semitic, but unfortunately it looks like that's going to be a very, very tough bridge to cross.